Hey, gang, there are so many important issues to discuss in today's political, cultural, and economic climate, and I can't discuss them all here. In fact, YouTube and big tech won't let me talk about it all here. And that's why I have exclusive, uncensored live streams on Monday nights to cover everything. On Monday nights, I share all my thoughts and answer your questions in an in-depth, casual format that prepares you for this upcoming election with the truth. Today, I want to show you a quick clip from a recent stream that I hope will help you think clearly about these important issues, as well as encourage you to join our movement. Join an upcoming exclusive live stream, and I'll answer your questions by clicking the link in the description below and joining our community of courageous patriots building a parallel economy. I look forward to seeing you over there.
So I want to talk about this fighter jet that's gone missing. Well, actually, they just found it about
They did.
an hour ago.
Apparently, it's in South Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah, what's the deal with this? What are your thoughts on the missing F-35 and the government asking for our help to find it?
I don't know. I'll have to look like the rest of us. We'll have to do our research. I've got my Twitter up right now looking at stuff as it's coming in. Bottom line, end of empire kind of life is when ideological fidelity trumps competence as the basis for your position in authority. And I just think in the powers that be right now, our elite ruling class, whether it's the military, whether it's Hollywood, universities, you name it, ideological fidelity to wokeness gets you farther than competence. And when that it happened in the Soviet Union, it wasn't wokeness, it was Marxism, just regular economic Marxism there. But when ideological fidelity trumped competence in Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union, it wasn't long before the whole thing collapsed. And so I think in many respects, I think that's what we're seeing.
Good, succinct. Okay, next one. Anne Del Signor says, Dr. Steve, what are your thoughts on the surge of illegal immigration in Italy? I heard many Italian citizens are upset that Meloni isn't doing more to control the situation.
Yeah, particularly in an area known as Lampedusa, Italy, where you're just seeing just massive surge of Northern African and Middle Eastern migrants coming in. They don't necessarily want to stay in Italy. That's another thing to keep in mind. Meloni, as I understand it, is working on arrangements to send them out to. Now, this doesn't help if you're worried about Europe in general, granted, but her thing, if it's Italy first, so she's pushing them out of Italy as fast as she can at this point. You have to understand the politics of Europe as neo-medievalist. And by that, I mean, when all said and done, there are no sovereign nations in Europe. There's just no. We were talking about this on the live stream on Friday. There's no sovereign nations in Europe. Everybody's subservient to the bullies in Brussels. This is why Britain left. This is why the UK fundamentally left. It was an issue of national sovereignty. This is what Nigel Farage argued for 15 years. We are not a sovereign nation anymore. We are under the ruling elite of Brussels. And what Meloni has to be very careful with is how she balances the Italy first interests and values that put her into office and a overlord elite in Brussels that tells her, remember the last populist that came to power in Italy, Matteo Salvini? Remember him? And when he shut down the borders and the like, he's on trial right now. He's on trial for kidnapping in southern Italy. Why? Because he refused to allow a boat of migrants to dock. I believe it might have been Lampedusa. I'm forgetting which port. And they're now bringing charges against him. He's been indicted. So, and now his party's down to 8 points in the polls and so forth because he can't campaign. So she's under enormous pressure from the bullies in Brussels. I see that on Twitter all the time. They're blaming Meloni and saying she's a hypocrite and so forth. And what I think she's trying to do is, look, I'm doing what I can right now to make sure that we have an Italy first value system, agenda, government represented. These people are coming in, and then yes, they've trashed Lampedusa. Lampedusa is one of the terrible victims of this. But then I think she's doing what she can to get them out of Italy as fast as possible and make them another nation's problem. Again, they're not coming into Hungary. They're not coming into Poland. They've got. But look at the hits that Orban has taken, and President Duda and Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki of Poland have taken. And I think she's just trying to be savvy there. I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt with that. We'll see, though. In the end, she's accountable to the Italian people.
But first, how many UFC fans do we have out there? We know that the one and only Donald Trump is a huge UFC fan, as are the fighters of him. But have you ever wondered what they do to manage their pain? Well, you don't have to, because a fellow patriot and good friend to this channel is precisely the one who provides relief to that pain, and he's here to do the same for you. You know, gang, as we age, aches and pains we think of are normal, but they don't have to be. And that's where the groundbreaking medical scientist Clint Winters comes in. You've seen Clint on Fox. You've seen him on this channel. He's a world-renowned health expert who's unveiled a natural pain reliever that's taking the world by storm. It's called ConoCB2. It's the 100% drug-free way to get full-body pain relief without dangerous meds, and it's the official pain reliever for the fighters in the UFC. And the best news, ConoCB2 has no documented side effects after years of private testing. It's absolutely the future of relief. So whatever you do, make sure to click on that link below and check out Clint's amazingly informative report on how ConoCB2 is changing lives by providing safe and powerful relief at a fraction of the cost of pain pills. Click on that link below right now.
This coming Wednesday, across Canada, there will be what's called the Million Man March for Parental Rights and Against Children Transitioning. Have you heard about this, and would the U.S. try something like this?
Yeah, I'm hoping to do a video on it this week, and they're already trying to disrupt it. A bunch of left-wing woke idiots trying to, but absolutely, I think so. I think parents have had enough. I think, again, most parents are live and let live. But you're not going to shove this nonsense down my kid's throat. And so this is great. This is wonderful. Again, this is tapping into the same impulse that gave us the Freedom Convoy, which was one of the most magnificent movements of the last decade. It's just absolutely glorious. They paid dearly for it. We all saw that. But we're seeing parents rise up to freeze my bank account all you want. You're not taking my kids.
Man. Speaking of kids, Vlad the Impaler is in the chat. He wants to know what your kids think about you as a YouTube star.
Vlad the Impaler. Hey, I like Vlad. He was a good Romanian Orthodox guy. The original Dracula, if you don't know. That's what What do my kids think of the dad as a YouTube star? That's funny, because we do get, when we go out, last time we were together, like in New York City, we had somebody come up in the park right around the Statue of Liberty, and we took pictures. It was really sweet. Oh, they roll their eyes. They think it's fun. My youngest, I think, thinks it's really fun. The others are like, they just kind of roll their eyes and chuckle and laugh. And but I think they get a kick out of it. But in the end, no one keeps me more humble than they do. I could promise you that.
This is true. Knowing that.
Hannah's seen it firsthand. No one keeps me more humble than my kids.
Your youngest is very much like you, though. I will say, just so everyone knows, Nikki's very similar.
Nikki's very geopolitically minded and so forth. Yeah.
All right. So the G20, which includes the USA, just voted to create a digital ID similar to the COVID-19 passport that the EU created. Where does this go from here?
I don't know. We're going to just have to keep a very, very close eye on that. Here in the States, I mean, we've got the red state, sanctuary state model that's really doing quite well right now against Biden, where, just red state after red state's rising up and saying, nope, over our dead body. It's not coming around here. We have a federalist system. You have no power here. Your magic has no power here. I don't know. Now, Canada still has a very strong provincial system, so they might be able to create some sanctuary provinces there. We'll see with Europe. Again, it's what the bullies in Brussels want, unless you're going to have a leader like Orban stand up and say, nope, it's not happening here. So we'll have to see what they're doing. But they're mess. Again, globalism, modernity is ultimately about control. That's the way to understand what modernity is. Before modernity, we talked about it with Maximilian's question. Before modernity, the fundamental question is, how do I conform my soul to the divine meaning and purpose all around me? And the answer was through cultivation of virtue and prayer and piety and the like. The modern age gets rid of all of the divine meaning and purpose, just sees blind nature and nothing more out there, because it only knows through scientific rationality. And then it asks the question, how do I conform meaningless, purposeless nature to my own desires and my own ambitions? And it's the answers through tapping into the mechanisms of coercion and control, namely science, technology, and the state. And then the great selling point is, if freedom has been redefined as the ability of being able to conform life to my own desires and ambitions, then you are most free when I, the technician, the technocrat, who supposedly alone has the competence to reconfigure nation to your own desires and ambitions, you're most free when I'm most in control. That's key. That's the magic. That's the evil genius of the modern world. You are convincing as many people as possible. You are most free when I am most in control as the technician over the world, so as to align it with your desires and your ambitions. So that's why the modern world's fundamentally about control. That's why it's fundamentally about centralization. That's why it's fundamentally about management and standardization and the like. It's taking the control out of your hands, giving it to someone who's the technical competence to be able to realize your desires and your ambitions. It's Fauciism 101. It's basically what it is. But you need to get out of the way. You have to let the experts take care of this. Again, the good news is you see people like Jimmy Dore and people like Russell Brand and others who are just coming on out on the left and saying, this is nonsense. This is insane. Jimmy Dore said, do you understand what you just told me? You just told me that when I go to a used car dealership, I'm not supposed to do research. I'm supposed to trust in the dealership experts. They will pick the car out for me. He said, nobody buys that anymore. So the good news is a lot of people aren't buying it anymore, but it's still that ethos that your freedom is dependent on certain people having power over you. That ethos is still very powerful in the West. So we have to really rage against it. I hope you enjoyed that clip of my Monday night Insiders Club live stream. Join us live next week by clicking on the link in the description below and joining the coalition of patriots worldwide, building a parallel economy to return to our roots of faith, family, and freedom. Click below right now.